Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome, everybody. All right, let me see who's in. Bad streaming quality. There's a big surprise. Same with the pizza. Lunar Skyclad. Good call. I'm going to talk more about that pizza thing. The Foggy Panda is in. Cute Cook Monty. Oh yeah, I see you recognize the thumbnail. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, no, that wasn't in my old timeline. That storyline. Shari D's in. Welcome, welcome. David Kent. Alejandro Ukami. And Paul NE9 are in. All right. So I want to talk about this pizza thing. That lunar skyclad, I think, was it? Short memory. Yes, lunar skyclad. Yeah, I don't remember any pizza in McDonald's history. 80s, late 80s to late 90s is what a couple of the locations were saying they sold this pizza. Supposedly it was a national menu item. The McPizza, apparently they didn't actually call it the McPizza, but the McPizza holds a legendary place in McDonald's lore. Legendary. Though pizza was a national menu item in the fast food chain in the 1980s and 90s, most locations have stopped serving it since. But at least 3 fast food locations in the U.S., the mythical McDonald's pizza is not just a memory. That was in 2017. So apparently they just closed the last McPizza places. Like they stopped serving the pizza. There's an old image of it from 2017. It actually looks good. Pizza might be the one thing in McDonald's that still tastes good. I don't know what if they've changed all the recipes, but I ate there once after a really long time, and I was shocked at how much I didn't like it. The McNugget. I used to get McNuggets all the time, and I taste them. I'm like, supposedly they changed the recipe, but whatever. They were shockingly not good. All right, so McPizza. I'm really suspicious about that. I can't swear, but I'm really surprised that I didn't hear of this legendary 10-year experiment in pizza. That's making me laugh. Okay, so back to the regular scheduled show. All right, this one is from Work Dove. She's talking about the star called Capella. And yeah, I have to agree with her. Capella. She remembers it being 1 star. It looks like 1 star. If you look up Capella as a star, a lot of places just call it the brightest star in the Auriga. Sixth brightest star in the sky. A lot of places just call it a star. But this one kind of gets to it eventually, but a lot of them don't really get to the fact that it's actually 4 stars now. 2 sets of binary stars, so that makes it 4 stars in some kind of a weird 4-way orbit thing. I don't know. There's a lot of residual about just calling it 1 star. The weird thing is apparently they've known about this, that it was not just a single star since 1899. And then a little while after that, they figured out it was 4 stars. So it just seems kind of unlikely that everybody wouldn't know it's 4 stars by now. So they talk about it here. 2 binary pairs made of the stars Capella AA, Capella AB, Capella H, and Capella L. I don't know, I think it's kind of weird they don't have their own names either, but so anyway, I just thought that was a weird one. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on in the star system. Lurking, Dead GPK's in, T-Box, Floyd S, Futuristic, BG2424. I recently heard of a lot of Americans never had chicken on pizza. In Australia, we had chicken on pizza for decades. Just saying. It's not a standard item. There's California Pizza Kitchen, and they do have kind of like weird pizzas, and they have one, at least they used to. I haven't been there in a while with chicken on. I used to get that one as my weird pizza a lot. But yeah, it's not a standard item. It does taste good on pizzas. I agree with you. It tastes better than pineapple, that's for sure, and it tastes better than what are those salty fish things they put on? Ugh, don't. All right, so all right, let's go back to the beginning. These guys just keep getting weirder and weirder. I keep going back to these because they keep adding weird things. Independent. I can't spell today. Independent. I think that's it. Close enough. All right. Naked mole rats. We've gone over these before. Many felt they were an ME. First, they were just ugly little naked mole rats with creepy teeth. That's them. And then over time, they've just gotten weirder and weirder. They've gotten uglier. They have this really weird social structure with the female ruling. Like, she's like the queen of an ant nest, except for the ants are these moles. And so each one has its own task. They have a soldier class, and they've got each their weird underground burrows have like separate rooms for each thing. There's a lot of creepy stuff, but now apparently their front teeth, they can move them like chopsticks. This is the first animal I've heard that could do this. I've looked really hard for anything else that could move their teeth. So this is a whole new deal for them. I've looked into these like 5 or 10 times because they're so weird. And never once did they mention they can move their teeth independently. Spreading them apart and moving them together like a pair of chopsticks. There wasn't much else on there. It's like there's the same sentence over and over, like a pair of chopsticks. Yeah, you look, it's everywhere. A pair of chopsticks, a pair of chopsticks. Anyway, so I looked really hard. I'm like, okay, if they're going to move their teeth, then possibly other things will move their teeth. But so far, I can't find anything about any other creatures moving their teeth independently. So what do they have, muscles on their teeth then? Weird. Okay, so strangeness. High strangeness on the teeth. People are still talking about pizza. I know, I saw that picture of that pizza, and I'm like, yes, I want a piece of pizza. Yeah, the Indiana Jones hat was on Moneybags, and it already made it to retconned. Yes, yeah, I know, it looks stupid. I don't know, he sort of looks like, I don't know, he looks more like a goofy scholar than a I guess he was supposed to be, but he has less of a rogue look now. He looks weird. Yeah, I agree with you. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about Indiana Jones's new Mandela hat. Type that in. Moneybags covered this. I don't know if he got it from there because I didn't watch the whole thing, but it already had rotated over to okay, so it looks stupid now. That's his new hat. It's got this weird like pinch in the front. I mean, come on, people. That one really, I got a good chuckle out of it when I saw it. It just does not look right. The more you look, the more you gotta laugh. Look at that, looks totally stupid now. All right. Yeah, McPizza and Indiana Jones looks like a dork. The new gallon hat Indiana. Yeah, yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm like Lincoln's friend. I didn't find much on the video of the teeth moving. I'll check. Hold on. Let's see. Mole rat teeth move. Let me see if there's any videos. I don't see anything obvious. I think this one's really a new one. There's only like one sentence repeated over and over. So usually there's like kind of a rumor and then there's some photos and then finally video. So it might be a little early for video right now. Early in the Emmy system. Funny thing about hats, they are saying Wild West cowboys didn't wear cowboy hats. Ah. Yeah, it's an old wives' tale, huh? Abe Lincoln versus the Temple of Doom. How can he get through doors? Yep. Yeah, you have to. I don't know. You just gotta laugh sometimes. All right. So, yeah, no, I didn't find any video of the teeth. All right. So, what was that thumbnail? Some people are already talking about it, but basically, they're saying now that we all used to salute the American flag like a Nazi, like that, up until let's see, what, the 1930s or something. So we all saluted that way until the Nazis started doing it, and then it was called the Bellamy salute. So there's all these images of all these kids doing the Nazi salute now. Originated in 1892, and that was the salute we would do. And then it was officially replaced by hand over heart salute in 1942. So that's what 50 years of Nazi salutes, basically. Yeah, no, I'm really suspicious about that one. That Nazi stuff. First of all, for me, the Nazi symbol is reversed from how it used to be, and I've watched that one morph, so I'm very positive on that one. And the swastika itself was originally, when I first heard of it, they said it was only in one ancient, was it India, Indian, like India tribe, I think it was. There was one tribe only that did it. And then, no, it was Buddhist. Yes, it was a Buddhist tribe. And then now it's like Native Americans had it. All these different places had it. No, when they first said that, I was just one. All right, so now everybody's uncle used to use the swastika, and I don't know, the whole Nazi thing. It's just weird because it's like getting to be everywhere. Like all of their symbols and stuff are like spreading out into history. So I don't know if they're trying to like I don't know what, are they trying to dilute it, or I don't know what's up with all that. But anyways, I'm really suspicious about this Nazi salute business. Really suspicious. So I put it up there because it was just creepy. Okay, so, and this one is from the Spiritual Scientist. Commenter on the channel. Oh, and that Pledge of Allegiance one was from a user on Retcon called XX Monster Man XX. So the next one is from the Spiritual Scientist. All right, so this Spiritual Scientist had some medical ones. extra weird for me. So they always said adrenaline is what caused the fight or flight response. Like your body would release adrenaline, and then you would, get all wired up and either run or fight or whatever. It was adrenaline. But now they're saying that it's not adrenaline. They're saying that your bone. So this is more weird stuff the bone's up to, because it used to just do blood cells, but now apparently it reduces, it produces this other stuff that you don't need adrenaline if you have the other stuff. And supposedly adrenaline will only work if you have the other stuff. And it's osteocalcin is needed to turn on the fight or flight response. Now, I find that pretty weird, actually, because way back when I was really young, I had like kind of an asthma attack. And what they would do back then, because there weren't that many medicines, is they would just shoot you with adrenaline. And that will open up your lungs, basically, fight or flight response. And so they did that once. They took me to the emergency room and shot me with adrenaline. And I definitely felt wired up. I mean, there was a very much a nerve response to this adrenaline. And I'm pretty sure my bones did not release osteocalcin. They just shot adrenaline right into your arm, and boom, you're like, so that really wouldn't fit in with this storyline with the osteocalcin. The view of bones as merely an assembly of calcified tubes is deeply entrenched in our biomedical culture. But about a decade ago, his lab hypothesized and demonstrated that the skeleton has hidden influences on other organs. So, research revealed the skeleton releases osteocalcin, which travels through the bloodstream to affect the functions and biology of the pancreas, brain, muscles, and other organs. It helps regulate metabolism by increasing the ability of cells to take in glucose, improves memory, and helps animals run faster with greater endurance. So I was looking this up, and I also noticed that certain things are antagonists to osteocalcin. So antagonist is something that blocks its functioning, and one of those things was caffeine. Caffeine blocks it. So one of these things that this osteocalcin also did. Let's see, am I on the right thing now? Wait. Let me make sure. That was that one. Oh, you know what? I think that was a different one. There was another thing where the bone released something, and it had to release that in order to initiate repairs. I don't think it was the osteocalcin, actually. I think it was something else. There's a bunch of stuff the bone does now. So there's something that has to be released by the bone in order for the bone to repair it. I forgot the name of it now. And that one can be blocked by calcium, or that one can be blocked by caffeine. So if you have bone damage, cut back on the caffeine. They said it won't like totally block it, but it'll slow down healing. So I don't know if your doctor ever said don't suck down a lot of coffee if you have bone damage, but that's another thing that bone does now. Ready for Star Wars? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll go. I don't want to see any Star Warses that have unhappy endings, and they've been kind of miserable. American Indians had it, and Germany stole it. Talking about the swastika. Not in my old timeline. They did not. That's the current timeline storyline. That is not my old timeline. The Native Americans did not have a swastika in my old timeline. No freaking way. The swastika has turned so many times, I don't know anymore how it looked. For me, it was opposite where it is now. I've mentioned this before, that for a while I was in this timeline where the neo-Nazis used the current one, and the original Nazis used the other way one. And there was some kind of goofy story that the neo-Nazis wanted to show that they were neo, and so they used it the other way. And weirdly, it was Mandela Affected YouTube channel that pointed this information out to me, because I didn't know. I watched his whole YouTube video, and then the storyline shifted and his video no longer had it on there, and I spoke with him about it, and he had no recollection of it. So it was a different him. He had no recollection of his own video, the video that taught it to me. So that's another reason why I flipped out. So if you look now, the neo-Nazis, well, last time I checked, I should say, the neo-Nazis used the same swastika symbol as the original Nazis. But for a while, I was like in this transition point. It was really weird. And so I must have somehow left behind the YouTuber named Mandela Effect that came from there, because the last time I talked to him, he had no knowledge of that. It's just weird. I mean, that whole ME I only watching because of his YouTube video that now never even existed. 3-foot avocados. Really? We have 3-foot avocados? 3-foot avocados. 3. Seriously? Long neck avocados that are up to 3 feet long and cost $47 each. 3-foot long avocados. I don't think they're going to last. They're not going to be $47 forever. Long necks. Look at that. Look at that. There's a lot of funny ones today. So I guess they're going to say it's some weird cultivar or something. I'm sure. See if the insider will give me the inside scoop here. Nine times as much as a standard fruit. Thick, creamy, savory, and slightly sweet. Pura Vida avocados. Only grown in southern Florida. The ginormous avocados have been grown by Miami Fruit for years, but they've recently been brought to wider attention on social media. So they're not even supposedly new. Oh, look, they've got a curly version, too. This is still less than the 6-pound avocados grown in Hawaii, though, which are thought to be the biggest in the world. Oh, so the 3-pound avocados are puny. They weigh as much as a newborn baby. He donates many of them to a nearby medical center. Holualoa in Hawaii. Kenji Fukumitsu and his family have been harvesting the avocados for around 80 years, and they all come from the same tree. The tree was grafted by Fukumitsu's older brother in 1941, and it continues to bear fruit to this day. We had so much and the pigs eating it, so I shared them with some of our friends. He doesn't know why they grow that big. You would think somebody would go over there and do some DNA testing or take a sample or something. 80 years. I guess avocados live a long time. That's it's just sort of strange to me. All right, so 6 pounds. Oh, is Dark Wolf standing? Hey, what's up? Oh, I finally got my cards better be here now. Whoa. I got the second set, but I haven't actually opened them yet. Jim Beam whiskey changed to Jim Beam. Yeah, I remember Jim Beam whiskey, but I actually remember that changing really quite a long time ago, because I was confused about it, but it was quite some time ago, long before I knew of the ME, like 10 years ago maybe. The moon is lit exactly on the bottom half tonight. Yeah, there was somebody on Recon that has mentioned, and I kind of didn't quite notice, but I did. You know how you just kind of. So who was that? Was noticing that? Dum, 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 dum. That was the game 81677 on Retcon. The moon keeps appearing lower and lower in the sky. Yeah, there's definitely something going on with the moon. I almost never see it anymore. I'm out during the day fair a lot. I almost never see the moon during the day, and there was a while there about 2 years ago when I would see it all the time on all different um, whatever phases, and I don't now. I just don't see it, and so it's getting like low on the horizon. It's getting really hard to see. You can't see it when it's on its real thin cycles anymore, hardly. It's like it's being phased out. The moon is just when it's out at night, it's really bright, but you don't see it that much anymore. And as it's low in the sky, you don't. It used to come up right over the top of the sky, and I haven't seen it like that in a really long time. There was a spot it used to always rise behind this one bush, and it doesn't rise up that spot anymore. For a while, even though it would go out in the day, it would still rise behind that bush whenever it did rise. But it's not there anymore. I don't know where it's gone off to hardly. Bones do have blood vessels. Yeah, they didn't used to. They just had the bone marrow had it, but 3 foot. Yeah, so it wasn't 3 foot avocados, it's 6 foot avocados actually. Haws. Haws. Actually, that's kind of a funny story because I don't know if you remember that story of the Nelson Mandela's statue had a rabbit in the ear, okay, and they removed the rabbit, but there was a little tiny rabbit, and I was looking up that story the other day, and apparently the Afrikaans word for rabbit is haas, Haas, and I was just laughing because it's like that's just too funny because that's like a really big ME for a lot of people. That haas changed to has. My conference interview is up on the Mandela Effect Conference International page. Yeah, I've linked it on mine so you can find it. Mandela Effect Research.com. So you go to the media page here, doink. And here is the conference, and that links to the conference page, which is not much going on, but I hope that eventually there'll be next year's conference up there. So that's this one. Obviously, it's too late for last month's conference. And if you want to see the speeches, you can click there, and it'll take you right to their YouTube channel. And they've been sticking them up one at a time. So, yes, the most recent one was Dark Wolf. I think a lot of people are waiting for the quantum businessman to go up there. There's been a lot of people curious about him. Somebody on Redcon apparently wondered if he was like fake, like he wasn't a real person. They actually researched him, and they're like, oh, wait, there's these 2014 images of him and stuff. I was kind of laughing because I saw him at the conference. So, yeah, he exists as a human. Did I find my mouse? Well, there was a mouse in the house, but the cat found that. The cat was good for that. I lost my cards and The Mandela Effect card game cards. I did never found those. I had to buy a new one. I think last week I dropped a mouse somewhere, but yeah, I did find that mouse. If you're talking about me dropping one of these. Mandela affected instances of realities are intriguing. You know, that's the main reason I watch his channel. He sees a lot of MEs. Unfortunately, a lot of them are kind of local to him, so they don't mean much to me. But you know, he does come up with ones. He's very good at finding them, and so I've learned some stuff from him. And then when his videos shifted, it's weird because he told me about those, but now he has no recollection of it because he never did tell me about those in this timeline. So it's weird. The Earth is shifting, not the moon. Everything's shifting. I don't think you could say it's the Earth only. The moon is brighter. There's just a whole bunch of weird things about it now. All of the patterning on it is totally different. The face of the moon has changed. Now it's a rabbit in the moon. Rabbit in the moon, rabbit in Mandela's ear. There's Haas, stands for rabbit. Naked mole rats used to be kind of cute, not now. Yeah, they weren't that ugly looking before. They weren't quite so wrinkly and... Yeah, they get uglier every time you see them. I know, and creepier. I don't know, Dark Wolf, if you were listening, naked mole rats can now move their front teeth like chopsticks. They have like muscles apparently that allow them to move their teeth. So I was just saying this is the first animal that can move its teeth. I looked for any other animal that can move its teeth, but I didn't find any. But I'm suspicious that others will show up. That's why I looked really hard. So many names changed, but not part Icelandic names. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just haven't heard one yet. Maybe there's not a lot of 3-part Icelandic names. That's why one hasn't changed yet. Yeah. See, a lot of people have to know you in order to notice your name changes. So if not a lot of people know you, then your name may change, but nobody will notice. Like my login name changed according to lots of people. My login name changed on Redcon. But for me on the inside, my login name did not change. So you may not know that it changed. It's just the people around you will tell you that it changed. I call it being on the inside of an ME. That same thing happened with Moneybags. 76 changed to 73. As far as he's concerned, it's always been 73. And his videos changed. So it's just like how Mandela Affected has no recollection of that video I saw. Because this timeline version of him didn't make that video, apparently. I've never heard of an animal with movable teeth. Yep. Yeah, snakes, it used to be that they could unhinge their jaw, just their lower jaw, so they could open it really wide. But now they actually unhinge like parts of their jaw, and their upper jaw unhinge and move independently. So they can actually move their jaw like this now and drag in prey. At least some of them could. And that was never the case. It was only the lower jaw that could unhinge. Now they just kind of break apart their whole face and everything operates differently. It's pretty weird. Also, Eva, your YouTube name change for me was Once Upon a Timeline. How is that different than what it is now? Once Upon a Timeline. But that is it now, isn't it? Interesting. Can't find it that way. YouTube. Yeah, it's still that. So you're just saying like the spacing was different? Silver E55. Yeah, we already talked about that ridiculous Indiana Jones hat. With and without spaces. The Great Wall of China changed. It's small and fragmented. Okay, I admit I don't really know where it was before, but I know it wasn't fragmented. It was one wall. The Great Wall of China more than twice as long as thought. 13 dynasties ordered walls to be built, so this is the sum total of the walls of the other 12. Of course, many may now be fragmented and derelict. However, he added that only 8.2% of the wall was built during the Ming Dynasty, remains intact, and then almost 3/4 of that is in poor condition. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so now it's all fragmented. They're saying it's longer, but darn, how long was it to start with? All of its various fortifications found it add up to more than 13,000 miles. All right, well, that's longer than I remember it. Contrary to popular belief, the Great Wall of China is not a single wall, but instead a series of often overlapping defensive fortifications built over the course of nearly 2,000 years, many of which run parallel to each other. No, that was not how it was. Oh, no. No. Contrary to popular belief. Previously, the length of the Great Wall had been put at around 5,500 miles. That still sounds a lot longer than I remember. Yeah, no. No. That's not right. It used to go all the way around China? Are you serious? Not for me. Are you serious? Is that was your old timeline or is that the new timeline? Even for me, the layout of the Giza pyramids have changed again this week, suggesting Orion is different too. China Wall was old ME for me, announced 3 years ago. I mean, for me, the old China ME was that you couldn't see it from space anymore. It was always you could see it from space. Now it's apparently not one wall. And then there was all those other weird walls in other countries that showed up. So preliminary, did it go around the whole country for you originally? For me, it was built to keep out invaders. So it didn't go around the whole country, though. I mean, in the old timeline, anyway. Okay, where are we here? Here. All right, I'm going to write that down because that's weird. Anyway, that's a good find. So Great Wall of China is not one wall. All right. All right, you guys remember that the name of that guy, Nebuchadnezzar? Was there like a super weird spelling? Do you remember a really weird spelling on Nebuchadnezzar? I mean, obviously the name sounds weird, but I looked it up and I don't remember the spelling that I found. This is not one that I could swear on, but Neba. So I found this spelling. I remember Nebuchadnezzar, but apparently now it was Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar with a D. I'm really suspicious about that, but I mean, if everybody chimes in that no, it was always Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar. I just don't ever remember seeing that spelling. I remember it's being spelled like it sounded, like Nebuchadnezzar. China now has replica cities that mimic Paris and others, but no one lives there. I've been watching those for the last few years. The story is they built all these giant cities and nobody wants to live in them, and it's like a ghost town, and like, I don't know, there's just that. I thought it was weird at the time. I'm like, okay, so they built a few, wouldn't they stop then? Oh, we're not building any more of these stupid fake cities nobody wants to live in. Um, I don't know. There's a freaking big golf place just beside the pyramids of Egypt. Check the damn place regularly, and it wasn't there before. All right, that was what I was going to do. Look up the indicator ME photos and check out the latest overhead image. Let me just check this Amenhotep-y thing. Takes an hour to load stuff, of course. Look, it's still thinking about loading. There. Let's see if it is pyramids at Giza will load. I don't know why it does this. Sometimes it'll load this right away and sometimes it just won't. I just rebooted the computer too. And this is not going through the internet, so I don't know why it would be so slow on some days. That's interesting. Okay, let's make it larger. All right, what's really weird about this is this whole thing, I remember being there, but I remember the pyramids looking a lot bigger than that. I mean, I have to squint to see them. I almost thought they were gone because it's like the pyramids got smaller in relation to this mess. Oh, this must be the golf course. I'm not sure on that one. I don't remember seeing that. This green blob here. But I can't swear to it. I might not have noticed. But this map does look different. I totally remember this being smaller in proportion to these guys. Yeah, that's sneaky. The shape is still kind of the same. But see, there's so many more structures in here. This is the same image, but the structures are extensive. So the road kept the same shape, but proportionally it got bigger. This is why the Emmy is so sneaky. And I don't remember this bit over here either. And this road over here, I don't remember. No, I don't remember that. Interesting. So this is how it's expanding. It's just so sneaky. See, this is why I don't follow straight into the just separate timelines thing, because it's the exact same shape, the road's the same shape, but the proportions are off. But if you glance at this photo and then you look again next month, or if you looked at it last month and you look at it this month, you would just assume it's the same photo. You wouldn't. I mean, you notice that those look smaller, but bad memory. But But no, those were way bigger in proportion to this. There was only like a third this many buildings in here. I also don't remember this mess here. I don't remember this. I don't remember this staining, like they're building more over here. So, yeah, this is this is how the structures just show up. And look, see, it was really straight through here. Now there's kind of this, I do remember it being straight, like straight through here. Now it's kind of bulged out here. And where I remember it being straight is right in this area of this golf course, too. So it looks like little fingers, or just tiny little nub fingers. See, what's this right here? That wasn't there. This was straight through here. And you know what? It was straight, and this stuff wasn't here either. There was just one finger of this stuff coming out. This wasn't here. Yeah. So look, this is bending around now. This road wasn't here. I don't remember this big obvious road connecting over here. Yeah, this area has changed. I'm trying to think, when was the shift, and I'll tell you. On Saturday I felt pretty bad, and Monday. I feel good right now, but I felt I was totally out of it, like Friday night, Saturday, Saturday, and then like Sunday night. I woke up on Monday. I swear I just could not get my brains together. I was just totally, I felt like I had done like a 10-hour math test at night or something. My brain was like exhausted when I woke up. So I don't know, something, if I'm going to put my money on a shift time, I'm going to say it was there. All right, let me shrink this thing down. All right, so good find. Yeah, there's something fishy going on with the pyramids. Let me just scroll through these other ones. I'm glad I saved that one after I saw that. Yeah, this one's one to keep an eye on. Pull up, find yourself a nice overhead image of the pyramid area, and we'll just see how long it takes to fill in the rest of the city area for that. Just looking at this one real quick. Seems like the tree is in a little bit different spot right there. Not much has changed on this house for a while, but that tree looks a little weird. I don't know. It seems like maybe they change for a while, and then they get done. So some of these ones, they used to change a lot, but now I haven't seen any changes in a while on them. So you got to find the active ones, and I think this overhead of the pyramids is definitely one of the active ones. All right, so I say Nebuchadnezzar, and it didn't have a D. It was never Cadnezzar. So yeah, Shari, good find on that golf course. And just, it's funny, one person sees one thing and then somebody else sees another thing, and then you start to put it all together and you can see kind of a pattern. So you see the golf course, I see that the line is not as straight as it was before, and that the irregularity happens to be right where the golf course is. Awakened saint used some kind of physical clock and measures her day as 16 hours and now not 24 hours. I know it takes 150 to 200% times more to nuke my beverages. I want to say that time is about half my old time. Days are about half length. If I go by the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi thing, I would say we've lost about half of our time. At least I have. I came from a boring, slow timeline compared to here. For me, it was Cadnezzar with one Z. Nebuchadnezzar. Huh. Yeah, no, I don't know. I never saw that. Nabucodonosor. No, huh. I can't help on that one. Wait. I remember that gate thing they have there in the middle of the pyramid. Now it at one corner. Um, can you like write that again? Because I'm a little confused. Water is wetter. A little bit of liquid soaks. I'm not sure on that one. It definitely acts differently though. More mushrooms. I do have a mushrooms one. It's coming up. It's coming up somewhere in here. Okay. Next one. You know I have to have a spider, right? It's not quite a spider, but it's almost a spider. It's a spider and a snake in one. I spelled that wrong. So apparently now we have this spider-tailed horn viper. Should have an N on there. So it's a viper with a spider shape on his butt, and then he wiggles that sucker. Okay, so look at that. See this thing? That's actually the tail end of the viper, and there's the viper's head. So he gets this tail thing, and then he flops it around, and it looks like some kind of bug, and he attracts. So basically, we've got like he attracts things with this creepy tail. There's the tail. So he's like an anglerfish, snake style. There were no snakes that did this before. And it's a fairly well-designed looking thing. I mean, it really does look like some kind of creepy bug. And then he flops it around. So pretty cool. Or not. So what? Apparently they attract they attract birds and stuff with this. Look at that. He sticks it out and flops it around. Devil creepy. Dark wolf's creeped out. Hey, you're a wolf. You can handle that spider. Whatever it is. Come on now. So this one was found by the spiritual scientist again. Good find, spiritual scientist. Yeah, that definitely was not in my old timeline. And I think that one is fairly new. All right. Spiritual scientist was also the first to comment on this California happening, which I'm just laughing my butt off as a Californian because no. So those goofy fish that look like you know what, supposedly a giant horde of them washed up on the beach in Northern California by the thousands, and everybody was freaked out because what is that creepy, icky thing? Thousands of them. There was no way that those were native to California. Look at all those. That's just gross. So there was millions of these things, which look more like their namesake every time I look at them. And ironically, one of these crawling around, I guess they undulate all weird and stuff, and they've got these weird little spine things in their mouth that come in and out, and they were not native to California, Northern California. No, they just weren't. I come from Northern California. I grew up there. I went to the beach a lot as a child. Just no. Anyways, so now if you didn't know about them, you do, because It's everywhere of these massive beachings. No, they're not a California thing. I mean, I could have bought that maybe they were like in Africa and I didn't know about them, but now you're on California territory. There is no way that this thing existed around here. Just no. So anyway, the first person to mention that, I saw it too, and I was already like keyed in on it because I'm like, I'm from California, and no. But he was the first one, or she was the first one to comment on it. There was a couple other people that came in later, but all right. Now, I don't know if you remember when you first heard of cupping, which is when they put those cup things on your skin and like suck air. And so one of the famous swimmers had like these suction cup marks all over his back, and they said, oh, he was doing cupping. Where they, I don't know, it's supposed to bring blood flow to the skin or something. So when I first heard of that, it was a new thing that they were doing. And I had not heard of it before until maybe 5-10 years ago. It was new. But now apparently it's been done for 3,000 years. They've been doing it. There's images of them using horns, and there's like, it's written about in the ancient texts, all this stuff. It's a really old therapy. Look at, there's all these bronze and bamboo and all these old techniques they use for cupping. They have different ones: fire cupping, water cupping. Here's like what you look like after you get it. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good plan to me somehow. So you got people walking around with all these weird bruises all over. So this guy's getting like cupping on his hind end. Like, whatever. Anyways, no, I say no. I just don't, I don't buy it. Yeah, I mean, it was new when I heard about it. It was a new thing, you know. It was one of them newfangled things. Now it's 3,000 years old. Wonder, luster, wander. I have noticed a few jumps or changes. Shifts. Yeah, people just call them shifts. I don't know. We don't know what else to call them. It's such a nice vague word. In the past month, my drive home is different. I wished I'd write it down when I noticed, but at least 4 times it's changed. Yeah, it's sneaky that way. Once one area changes, keep an eye on it because a lot of times it'll change again. Spiritual scientist is awesome. Oh, does that person have a channel? I'll have to check it out. The best part of the story was the beavers eating them. Yeah, I have no comment on that one. Yeah, SMQAI had a live stream ranting about these things. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's an older ME, but I'm just like, no, no, California, no, no, not California. I mean, I can't speak for what was native to like Chicago, but I can talk about Northern California, and no, there is just no way. People remember cupping from the 90s or 2008. Still can't deal with the snake with a puppet. Yeah, I know. It's anglerfish on the land now. That whole anglerfish thing is getting really popular. All right, got that. Got that. Okay. Now, I think I mentioned last week that the Thinkers looks like he's got his knuckles in his mouth a lot more with the face plugged up. So somebody made a comment on Retcon that like he doesn't even look like a thinker anymore. So it got me to wondering, because when people make those comments, they just kind of throw them out there and they're not thinking. But a lot of times it just triggers something. So I looked up the thinker. And so it turns out that his name is not the thinker. The original name was the poet. I can't remember where I saw it. The thinker was initially named the poet and was part of a large commission begun in 1880 for a doorway surrounding the gates of hell. Rodin based this on the Divine Comedy of Dante, and most of the figures in the work represent the main characters in the poem, with the thinker at the center of the composition over the doorway and somewhat larger than most of the other figures. Some critics believe that it was originally intended to depict Dante at the gates of hell pondering his great poem. So he's not a thinker anymore. He is a poet. I don't know. If I was making an image of me, I'd really have to hate myself to make myself look that dorky, with the big old knuckle smashing, knob headed. I don't know. All right, so that was the original statue. Apparently, he's not a thinker anymore. He's a poet. No, it was the thinker. Yeah, so he was the poet. So how did he get the name the thinker? He doesn't look like a thinker. The border with Mexico is different, yes. Agree with you there. I think there's an open hell gate somewhere in California letting weird things happen there. I don't know. I mean, I would have to vote for Florida if you're going to go with the weird stuff. Florida makes California look good in comparison when it comes to weird. All right, so that's that one. The thinker is not the thinker. It's like the creation of man has been changed to the creation of Adam. For me, it was dang, now I can't remember. It was man and God was the name of it. It was not the creation of man. It was man and God was the original name. When I started studying it like 3 years ago. See, if you type in Man and God Sistine Chapel, that was the name of it. And it knows. Google knows that when I type in Man and God Sistine Chapel, then it takes me to the creation of Adam. Yep. Even if I type in images for man and God, it still mostly takes me to creation of Adam. So it was man and God. That was the name of it for me. And I looked it up a number of times, and then suddenly I looked it up and it was the creation of Adam. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it's somebody's timeline it was creation of man. That's an interesting one. A lot of us remember for Star Wars, Luke, I am your father. And then it changed to no, I am your father. But this last month, a number of people have come forward on Retcon and they remember, no, Luke, I am your father. So is it just contamination of timelines, or is they just come from a third timeline where it was no Luke? I mean, if it was no in one timeline and Luke in another timeline, no Luke could be in another timeline. A combo timeline. Now it's got both of them. That's the first I've heard, though. It's just weird because that's one of those Emmys that comes up over and over and over again, and everybody's either like they remember Luke or they remember no. Now suddenly there's these pile of them going no Luke all at once, not just one person. He was a poet and we didn't even know it. That's it. That's a good one. I like that. I think Baja California was American. Way back, I kind of have that memory, but I wasn't the big geography expert, so not sure. Florida has new keys. Would not surprise me in the least. This timeline loves this island. I don't recall a Keys Island named No Name. The Mandela Effect is running out of ideas. Yeah, see, there's some remember Luke, some remember No, but there's also now a No Luke timeline. Okay, this one. Okay, getting this. Last week we had drugs going backward in time with the cocaine and stuff. Found another one. Crocodile. If you remember Crocodile, I just heard about that about 4 years ago max. I think even less. Crocodile. So Crocodile. I've discussed this before because it's like the flesh-eating zombie drug, and I know I did a video on it where the flesh would like rot off of you, and it was all gross. They named it after crocodile because, I don't know, they say it makes your skin all crocodile-y. So I said, like, how can people have these disgusting wounds and not be like dead? Because it will eat away your flesh. Well, it was a new drug in town, okay? New drug when I heard of it, and it was not long ago, okay, that it was a new drug. But now they're saying it was first synthesized in 1932. Relative of morphine, natural painkiller, blah, blah, blah. Also, when it first came out, they just said that it was really cheap. So it was like, well, why would anybody want to? And it was just in Russia because people didn't have money. And so, like, why would anybody use this thing that makes your flesh rot off? It was really cheap. But now they're saying that it's like 10 times stronger than morphine. So it's like really strong now. They're saying that it's like in America and LA and all this stuff now. Before it was like, no, it was only in Russia because they couldn't get the better stuff. So now they're saying it's popular here because it's really strong. Desomorphine was largely forgotten for years until circumstances conspired to bring it back into prominence. That was not the storyline when I first heard of it. It was new. When the Russian government restricted the movement of heroin from Afghanistan, there was a sharp increase in the price. As a consequence, Russian addicts started looking for cheaper substitutes, including desomorphine. No, it was new at the time. It was new. We are not talking pharmaceutical grade desomorphine. See, there was no pharmaceutical grade desomorphine because there was no pharmaceutical version of it. Anyway, so more backwards in time with the drugs. One quickie thing I wanted to mention. One of my vendors, Coffin Creek Furs. This was my vendor for years and years. They sell fly tying stuff. I get a couple things from them for years and years and years and years. Coffin Creek Furs. What's on there now? Freaking S. Coffin Creek Furs. They have an S on their name. There was no freaking way they had an S. I was just laughing so hard. Coffins Creek Furs, apparently now. Yeah, Manchester. I don't know. Anyways, no. Look, somebody even refers to them. Somebody refers to them as Coffin Creek Furs here. Somebody's from my old timeline, obviously. They're probably talking about fly tying stuff because this guy sells fly tying materials. See, somebody else calls them Coffin Creek Furs, 2014. But in this timeline, they were always Coffins Creek. It's just weird. Now, interestingly, the original owner of this recently died, and his son took over. And but the name of the place now, even way back in history, was always the S. But I just think it's interesting that there's new management, and now it's always had an S, even though these people remember it like I do. All right, it's a personal Emmy, but a lot of Emmys, you're like 99% sure that they changed, but you're not 100%. This is like 100%er for me. This is my vendor. I type him in all the time. There's no way that it had an S on it. So that's why I just had to say it, because there's no way. All right. This one totally made me laugh. I used to live kind of near San Francisco. Used to go there all the time. Treasure Island. Treasure Island for me was an island on in Disneyland. Okay, Treasure Island was a fantasy island in Disneyland, or like books. Well, San Francisco has a Treasure Island now, and no, they did not. I'm not sure how old this thing is. Maybe it's been there a while, but so there it is. There's a nice road leading to it and stuff. Now they're saying it was a man-made island, but way back a long time ago. I'm wondering if that'll change, because I've kind of noticed that they'll say that stuff's man-made, and then the middle will become original, and then they'll just say they expanded it, and then the stories, they morph. So already we have this little island, and now they're saying this is man-made, but something is rotten in Denmark. There was no Treasure Island. Built in 1936 to 1937. No. No, I'm sorry. No. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with the old World's Fairs and stuff, too. There's all this storyline on the World's Fairs that are suspicious. Monstrous, humongous structures built. So supposedly this thing was built for the Golden Gate International Exposition of 1939. The island's World Fair site is a California historical landmark. No, we didn't have that. Here's the thing about San Francisco. The cost of housing is ridiculously, monstrously high there. But only just now are they deciding to build on this Treasure Island, which is completely ridiculously suspicious in itself. I mean, they would have been all over that thing like at least 20 years ago. I mean, even when I was a kid, living there was expensive. So they've got a couple. They in this timeline, they're saying that they lodged some homeless people on there, let them live in some old army barracks or something. Was a military base for a while. A lot of the new stuff that's coming in, they were saying it was a military base. That's your excuse for not knowing about it. But no, there was no Treasure Island. I'm sorry, there just wasn't. No. So it's a pretty big island. There's like some old military stuff, and then there's some homeless people and a bunch of space. There's just no way. I mean, if you knew San Francisco, there's no way. This thing is new. I call bull on the Treasure Island. Just no. I mean, it might have been there for a while, but it was not there way back. Alcatraz in the Atlantic, East Coast. Alcatraz is by San Francisco also. I don't think it's moved. I've had some disputes with some of the past history of Alcatraz, but it's still San Francisco last I checked. Treasure Island in Seattle. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the one by San Francisco. Treasure Island, no. Shari D, no Treasure Island. Exactly. No Treasure Island. Popped up a few years ago. Okay. One bedroom apartment is 1,000 a month. You'll be lucky to get a one bedroom apartment for 1,000 a month. I think it was about what, 15 years ago. One bedroom apartment was 1,000 a month. I think you're talking more like, you're talking more. All right, so Treasure Island, no. All right, talking about the mushrooms. All right, so we have desert truffles now. They're in the desert, not dessert truffles, desert truffles. Truffles was when I was a kid. It was a word that really confused me because truffles either means those expensive mushrooms that the pigs dig up from like Europe, or it means like chocolates. So first I thought it meant the mushrooms, but then somebody gave me chocolates and said they were truffles, and I'm thinking in my head, oh, I thought that was mushrooms, but I guess it's chocolates. And then I get a little older, I figured out it meant both. But what it did not have was ones in the desert. They got to make sure I don't write dessert truffles and I write desert truffles. So they dig these things up and they're like all over. They even supposedly have them in parts of California even have some versions of these. All right, so they're really popular in like the Persian countries, sounds like. Turvizachi. And when they dig them up, they look like potatoes or something. I mean, they just dig in the desert and they find these blobby things and they're really expensive. So they walk around the desert and then they look for certain plants that grow near them and they look for certain cracking in the soils and then you just dig. So how did this get brought to my attention? Of course, it went viral on Reddit that somebody was digging a desert truffle and a snake popped out and scared the pants off the poor guy. So yeah, desert truffles. They look like taters. Less spherical turbinate, thick-walled and solid. Marbled veins interspersed with sterile tissue. Asci or cylindrical, spherical, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't that look like a giant tater? It's a desert tater, but it's a truffle. So Iran, Turkey, Algeria, Tunisia, Kuwait, Saudi, Syria, Libya, Oman. They have Hebrew word is kamehin, so it kind of sounds like they might be in Israel, Hungary. I'm really suspicious about this. I just, it used to be that the fungus would grow in areas where there was a lot of water, but now they're just saying like a little bit of rain and then these things will grow like really fast. So, yeah, I don't know. Very suspicious. Like, it could be I didn't know about it, but I'm really suspicious. There's so many new mushrooms now. Okay, got that one. Ooh, I'm almost done. Wow, did I burn through them that fast? Dum, dum, dum. Yep. Yeah, looks like I'm almost done. I'm not like really sleepy today, so it doesn't seem like I've been talking that long. Doop, doop. All right, the last one is this weird spelling one. Kind of a specialty for this timeline. Spelling of bestiality. I remember it being beast and then reality. This timeline, it's bestiality, B-E-S-T. It never was beast. What is the correct spelling? It's B-E-S-T. I think that's kind of an interesting choice for the word when it obviously should be just the word that it's named after. common way to incorrectly spell the word bestiality is B-E-A-S-T. So, yeah, no, I don't think so. And that was my dear friend Julie Holcomb who noticed that. She comments a lot on the channel. I say no. Yep, that's the last one. It's kind of a weird one to end on, but I don't know if any of you guys remember that spelling, but I sure do not. Texas has many more bays here, and they're getting bigger. Yeah, yeah. You know, our harbor's getting bigger. We have these like kind of sort of swampy inland areas. Those are getting bigger. I look at the Bay Area, and let me just get a map up here. I wish I paid more attention when I was younger, but I certainly have looked at the Bay Area enough times. This looks like a good picture if it'll load. Fortunately, if I hover over it, it becomes invisible. All right, that one sucks. I'll have to go back. About this one. Batten 0.00 here. I don't remember all this stuff up here. Okay, so right now the white area is actually the water and the blue area is the land, so it's kind of reverse. It's really choppy in here. I don't remember these edges being all choppy, but I really don't remember this. Weirdly, it's all smooth in here, almost like it is new. This area was not nearly choppy like that. It was kind of like smooth. I mean, you could just say that the maps were doing it wrong, but another thing I don't remember is this dip in like this here. I don't remember it like dipping in. And it was a little smaller, but yes, even here it looks all choppy. Look at this here was not there. Also, the shape is kind of weird now. It kind of looks like, if you didn't have this part here, it looks like a bird head and a bird body. It was more kind of in like that. The shape is really changed here. This one bends around and has this all here. It wasn't like that before. Oh, this one is like the unscientific Bay Area. I was like reading it going, what? Nothing, drunkards, Freakmont. Yes. Actually, I should come back to that. That's kind of funny. All right. So, yeah, I call no on the Bay Area. There's weird stuff there going on. More like 1900 a month now around the fire region, soaking the fire refugees. Yeah, I would definitely. I wanted to say 2000 a month. Actually, I almost said it, but then I'm like, I haven't really checked, so I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, 2000 a month for a one bedroom would not surprise me, because it was like 15 years ago. It was 1200 a month, and that was quite a while back. And things here have doubled since then. So. Skooks, our rent 30 years ago for a one-bedroom apartment near San Francisco was $1,200. Yeah. No, they grew in the woods. Yeah, the fungus just didn't grow out in the desert. It didn't. But now they do. They grow out. I guess just a little bit of rain in the winter now is enough. So they have all this food and they just dig it up. It's pretty cool. Food everywhere. Out in the middle of the desert, they go out there and dig up food. Son rents San Francisco one-bedroom sketch neighborhood, $2,000 a month. Yeah. Mushrooms pig hunted. Yeah, the truffles were pig hunted in like the forests, not the deserts. for me anyway. There are more psychedelic ones now too. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of more psychedelics I think now. How is it that all these things have always been there, like the crazy looking avocados, and we're just hearing about them? Yeah, especially avocados. 80 years. One tree, 80 years. Nobody's investigated. He's been selling them for 80 years. Yeah, no, I don't think so. No complaining, then YouTube goes after you. I didn't do anything. I've got to get my. Yeah, California, we have to get our real ID. Yeah, what a pain. I don't know, somehow the feds decided that the current California idea is not good enough. So if you want to get on domestic flights, you're going to either have to bring your passport or a special new ID, which means another fun trip to the DMV. I'm going to have to see if I can go to AAA for that business. I really like, I swear it's worth paying AAA every year just to get away from the DMV and do all that DMV stuff at AAA. My place will be worth over 400,000 when we are done. Yeah, that would be on the really low end, wouldn't it? Is there any place? Are you in San Francisco? Is there any place that's worth only 400,000 in San Francisco? I'd be shocked. You're, if you're in San Francisco, I mean, what do you have a half a bedroom? It's worth 400,000 over there. Also, new Social Security card with a new number, not Social Security number on it. Really? I didn't know about that. Duplex, Sacramento. A duplex is worth a mere 400,000? I find that hard to believe. I checked this live chat 1 hour before it started, and there was already this one thumb down. Somebody must really hate me. I don't know. It was a lot of work. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, whoever hates me. I apologize, whatever it was. All right, well, I think I'm pretty much done. So kind of a slow. I don't know. Some of those were pretty weird for me, but I'm thinking they probably didn't change just now. Like that Treasure Island one probably didn't just show up yesterday. I did find kind of a, I don't know, I guess there's no earth-shattering ones, but some of those are weird for me. Like Coffin's Creek Firs is pretty recent for me, though. All right. Anyways, I think I'm going to like get out in a timely fashion. Oh, look, I've lost my YouTube. All right, I can do it on this one. I still can't believe it would be only 450,000 in San Francisco. I bet you could get more. Yeah, if you rent like if you can rent a one bedroom for 2,000, so if maybe if the duplex is only one bedrooms on each side, that's still 4,000 a month. So that would be like 50,000 a year. So in 2 years you have 100,000. In 4 years you have, so you'd have it paid off in like 5 years. And nothing is so cheap that you could rent it out and pay it off in 5 years that I could think of. Not in California, anyways. I mean, maybe other places, but not in California. We live in the whole thing, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if you do, but if somebody wanted to buy it, they could rent that out and make the buckolas. Shari D, where were you traveling? Missed me and everybody for the last 2 weeks. Skook Strange World was sick. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't know. I had a couple days where I felt like really crap, and then I felt great today. So I don't know. Oh, somebody gave me $10. I don't know who it was. What is it? Gave me $10. I don't know. How did I get $10 and not know? Oh, David Kent gave me $10. Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't think I know that person. Very much appreciate it. Okay. Oh, it just slipped in there. That's why. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna check on out of here. Can't do any better than making $10. Time to check out on a positive note and get to bed sort of early. So thank you guys. You came up with some good ones for me as usual. Appreciate it. That one on China Wall being in little segments. Very interesting. Anyway, so think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.